When you think of an outstanding leader, what traits do they have? High IQ is a common answer, but what about EQ, emotional intelligence? In my experience, there tends to be three main types of leaders. Some have personal emotional competence, meaning that they have the ability to be aware of their emotions and are able to manage them effectively. Others can manage their emotions, but struggle to build effective, meaningful relationships. Then there are those outstanding leaders who display a high level of emotional intelligence. They are highly effective at managing and displaying an appropriate level of emotion, whilst having the ability to not let their emotions affect their relationships. This means they have both personal competence and relationship competence that allows them to manage their emotions and the emotions of others around them. In order to use EQ to become an outstanding leader, you need both personal and relationship competence. But crucially, you also need to understand how these two competencies play out. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is having a clear understanding of your strengths, your limitations, your emotions, beliefs, and motivations. It sounds simple, yet 79% of executives surveyed by Korn Ferry Consulting had at least one blind spot or a skill that they ranked amongst their strongest, others reported as their weakness. Self-awareness is knowing one's internal state, their preferences, their resources, and their intuitions. This area focuses on how well you know yourself, including your strengths and weaknesses, in comparison to how others perceive you. So how well do you recognize your emotions and their effects on you? Leaders who are adept at recognizing and managing their emotions are better equipped to perceive others' feelings and know how to motivate employees. And those who aren't are likely to see a slip in performance. Research from Harvard Business Review found that teams with individuals who lack self-awareness make worse decisions and are less effective at conflict management. So being self-aware of what you are feeling and knowing what's creating the feeling is one thing, but being able to regulate and manage it is another. This is the second level of personal competence. An example of not being able to self-regulate is when you see a person lose their temper in a meeting. Someone who either brings their bad attitude to the meeting or worse still, brings the meeting to an end by walking out. Remember, outstanding leaders are able to self-regulate and manage their emotions, meaning that they're not susceptible to outbreaks like this. This leads us onto self-regulation. So self-regulation refers to how you manage your emotions, your behaviors, and impulses. The more self-aware you are, the easier this becomes. If you can recognize what you're feeling and why, you can respond appropriately. We're talking about managing your internal states, impulses, and resources. This involves keeping disruptive emotions and impulses in check, maintaining integrity, and acting congruently with your values. It also includes flexibility in handling change and striving to improve or meet a standard of excellence, readiness to act on opportunities, and persistence in pursuing goals despite obstacles and setbacks. Now let's look at relationship competence and the two levels within it. The first level is what I call C, social empathy awareness. If you don't have the awareness of how others are feeling around you, how do you know how to best be there for them? See, social empathy awareness is the ability to understand another person's experiences and emotions. It's been ranked as the top leadership skill needed today by global consulting firm DDI. Leaders who excel at listening and responding with empathy perform more than 40% higher in coaching, planning, and decision-making. C refers to how people handle relationships and the awareness of others' feelings. This includes their emotions, strengths, and weaknesses, as well as their individual needs, preferences, values, and other aspects of diversity. It refers to empathy, sensing others' feelings and perspectives, and taking an active interest in their concerns. It's also relevant to organizational awareness, reading a group's emotional state and power relationships. The second level in having outstanding relationship competence is relationship social skills. Your ability to build meaningful relationships is based on how you show up for other people around you. Relationship social skills are all about how you perceive emotions and how you interact and communicate with others. For example, emotionally intelligent leaders can walk into a room of employees with pursed lips and clenched fists and can not only sense the tension, but know how to address and resolve the conflict before it even escalates. The more in tune you are with your emotions, the easier it will be to assess others and If you can assess others' feelings, you can more easily build and maintain relationships. Outstanding leaders know that building effective relationships depend on how they utilize their awareness of others to maximize not only their potential, but their relationships. Ultimately, emotional intelligence can be honed over time by practicing the skills of building personal and relationship competence. Through self-awareness and self-regulation, you can tap into both social empathy awareness and relationship social skills. Harness these when challenging situations arise, and you'll be well on your way to becoming an outstanding leader.